no matter how big the shoot is, this line you will always hear, which is there is no budget.
So how did working with Sabyasachi happen?
He's a visionary, so he already knew that Instagram is going to take over, and he decided to do a lot of short format videos.
Oh, in 2016.
2016.
You work with a lot of creative people.
He's a master in lighting. Like any situation, he will create magic. Certain clients will come to you. They won't have any vision at all. We have this many garments. We want to shoot it like in next 2 days or 3 days.
People who are behind the cameras are not good at networking and mostly they are introverts. What will get them more projects?
You might be a great artist or you might be talented. Algorithm is working in a way where it is making you to do things which you personally would not do, or it's not you.
How do you get regular projects from certain clients?
You need to understand the brand's language. KL, his vision was really interesting. We put a skimmer behind and it's a bright sunny day. It's almost like when you paint watercolor, it looks like that.
Nowadays, do you think brands have become more budget conscious?
When client comes and they ask you like 10 reels, 15 reels a day, quantity has increased, but the budget is same. There are some clients who have delayed payment for 1 year also.
Oh, okay.
Some brands who have like a lot of money, but when it comes to talents payment, sometimes they take it for granted.
See, I've seen a lot of photographers. They've been exploited by the brand.
First, I say no collaboration. You will think that when they have bigger budget,
They'll
they will come to you. They'll never come to you.
Okay.
When they have bigger budget, they will go to person actually who's charging. I get to work with the international team. Their workflow is completely different from what we do. There is no hierarchy as like, oh, he's a director, whatever he says. It's not like that.
Okay.
Here there is this thing, that hierarchy, that you're a director, you'll do anything. Everybody has to be like quiet.
I put an input like I want a Maran style image of my photo. As an artist, how do you feel?
From an artist perspective, everyone is in panic.
Maran is one of the rare and extremely creative person from South India who has worked with top national and international brands. And today we have him with us to decode his ideas and thought process in creating such extremely aesthetic photos and videos. 80% of our viewers who watch our show regularly are not subscribed to us. So can I ask you a favor? If you like our show, if you like what we do here, the simple and easy way to support us is by hitting the subscribe button. And my promise to you is that we will do everything in our power to bring more such guests to our show every week. Enjoy the show. There are people who do excellent work in photography, but there are people who do excellent work in cinematography. But now at this point, you ace both. You do both photos and video. So was it a conscious decision to do videos?
It was not a conscious decision.
Mm.
I was not into video that much.
Okay.
I had interest in it when I
Okay.
was in college. I used to do like for student films and all.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was good in camera and I owned a camera back then,
Okay.
so film students used to call me
Okay.
so that they get the camera also.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to rent it.
Okay.
And I also
You
I
also
was
go along
experimenting with it.
Mm.
No, that happened. Like
Mm.
basically, as I told you, I had interest in
Mm.
almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
So once I completed my course, I came back here and
If you look at Venkatram and all, he's excellent with photos, but videos he won't touch. But there are people who are doing videos like cinematographers. They do videos, but they won't touch photos. But I feel like when I see your work, you excel at both, Anna. Like you are good at studio strobes, you're good at continuous lights, you're good at photos, videos. So I want to know how do you manage this both?
I think that is my plus and that is my
Okay.
disadvantage also sometimes.
Mm. How is
Because
it a
you,
disadvantage? Na?
because you need to be updated about everything, right?
Okay.
If you're just focusing on one thing, then you can only think, you can read about it, it's not just about what you know, it's about like
How do
constantly
you
updating.
upgrade?
But when it comes to this, you need to be like
Mm.
focused on everything. Like you need to learn about
Okay.
this also, you need to learn but somehow I like that,
Okay.
I don't want to be like a super perfect person. I mean, I don't want to be too skilled and the
In
best
one,
in one thing.
right.
I just want to experiment everything and I want to learn
Mm.
if something comes up newly,
Mm. Mm.
and I don't want to restrict it. I want
But
to learn it. Like
do you ever miss out on like say let's say you are shooting out a video for a project, but do you miss out like say I want to shoot a photo shoot for this project?
happens. See, sometimes depends upon the project.
Mm.
There are some projects where the need is too much, that where you need to give so much attention to the photography also and
Mm.
video also.
Mm.
That time I take a stand that
Okay.
I would be only focusing on particular thing, because just because you want to do, you don't want to spoil a project.
Correct.
The advantage is basically, if you are doing both and if you know both,
Mm.
you have a overall vision of a project.
Mm.
Like if a brand comes to you, like how as a end product, photography and film,
You can deliver both. To
deliver both, and it has to have the similar aesthetic, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
you are the creative director of the
Right.
entire
Right.
thing.
Mm.
But I like I know I give work to different people. Like for example, if I'm taking care of the photography,
Mm.
I can direct it. Then I will have a DOP for doing
Right.
it.
Right. Right. Yeah. In one
Depends
of the
upon the
projects
project.
I saw, you had a separate guy for
Yeah,
video. Oh.
depends upon. If it
Mm.
is a small project where it's like a run and gun shoot, then
Then
we can do
yeah.
both. Depends upon the deliverables.
Right. Right.
We have to figure out whether we will be able to pull it off or not.
Okay. Okay. But would you advise someone who's starting right now to learn both, or first master one and then get into the other one?
I don't. I mean, it's completely different.
O-
People have different philosophy, right?
Okay. What would be
Ideally, it would
yours?
be good if you
Okay.
learn something but good and you focus
Mm.
on other things.
Mm.
But my mind works completely different.
Okay.
I cannot just do one thing.
All right.
I have interest in multiple things. So
So it's completely depend on the
yeah,
person.
each
Okay.
one has a different journey, right? Like,
Correct. Correct.
and when you make a mistake, then you learn from that.
Mm.
Okay, I should know. Like,
Correct. I think that feedback loop is very important. Like when
yeah,
you make a mistake, you need to learn and get better at the
yeah.
craft. So how did working with Sabyasachi happen, especially at the beginning stage of your career? Like, what type of portfolio do you had at the time?
Basically, that was like an accident, you can say,
Okay.
because as I told you, I had interest in fashion,
Okay. Okay.
but I always felt this fashion is something which is very distant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody from my background is from fashion or not even art related
Mm-hmm.
this thing. So when I studied, I had interest in all this thing,
Right. Mm.
but I never thought I will get into fashion as such
Okay.
because there is no link in
Mm.
that
Mm.
field. But it happened to be like one of my college mate was working as a graphic designer in his
Okay.
firm,
Oh, okay. Okay. Mm.
and he showed my Facebook profile
Okay. Okay.
basically,
Mm.
and
Mm.
I didn't have like fashion work much. Like whatever fashion work I had, it's all like what you shot for your friends,
Right.
their project,
Mm.
all those things. But I had a lot of um, street photographs in my
Mm.
profile.
Mm.
Somehow we showed it, it seems, and
Okay.
he saw it and he liked it.
Okay.
And back then, I actually I know there was a designer called Sabyasachi, but I was not like too much into the field, so
Right. Right.
I didn't know that how big he was.
Mm. Mm.
And I got a call from this guy, and he told me somebody wants to talk to you,
Okay.
and it was Sabya on the
Okay.
call, and
Mm.
he called up and he
Mm.
said,
Mm.
we are planning to focus more on Instagram, and this is back
Oh, in
2000,
2016 itself.
2016.
Okay. Okay.
This is when I had Instagram, but I was not using Instagram
Right.
much.
Mm.
Facebook was big back
Mm.
then,
Mm.
and he's a visionary, so he already knew that Instagram is going to take over, and all the business is gonna be a platform for business.
Correct.
And he decided to do a lot of short format videos
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
photographs and all related to that. And he told me this idea that he wants to do
Mm.
this, and I don't know what he saw in me. Maybe he felt that aesthetics are somewhat similar. I don't know, or
Okay.
he can
Mm.
mold me or whatever it is. And he wanted to do like experiment few projects with me,
Mm.
and that's how I started doing projects for him.
Okay. Okay.
And
Mm. All
that
right.
is where my
Mm.
fashion knowledge
Journey
and
started
whatever
days.
everything started there.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I think your aesthetics matched, I guess. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, he gives importance to details.
right.
He's
Right.
someone who's like
Mm.
he gives so much importance to details.
Mm. Mm. Okay. But then when you work with these creative people, let's say have gone to the sets of Sabyasachi and for a shoot, you work with a lot of creative people. You see Sabyasachi himself working live, and you also see Tarun Khiwal, Tarun Vishwa shooting the shoot. So how much of the impact that gave to your career?
That was
Mm.
the base for me, you can say,
Okay.
because
Mm.
I never knew that I would be able to work with these kind of big people. Like in
Okay.
terms of
Okay.
Tarun Khiwal and all, I've been like seeing his work for a very long
Very
time.
long time. Mm.
And when I had to like when I can work with him directly
Mm. Mm.
and talking to him, all these things were
How
like
was he in person, Tarun Khiwal?
very, very working with him is like almost like in a meditative state he works.
Okay.
He,
Mm.
like his assistants keeps like before he comes,
Mm.
everybody keeps light and all those things
Uh,
like basic things and all.
okay.
Then he'll come.
Mm.
They might have set it for 1 hour. He will
Okay.
come and he'll look at the model and all this thing.
Mm.
He'll close his eyes. Then he'll say, remove all this. Then
Okay.
he'll shoot with natural light. So it all depends upon what he feels at that
At
moment.
that moment.
And he's a master in lighting, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
he can pull off anything. Like any
Okay.
situation, he will create magic in it.
Okay. Okay.
Similar with Tarun Vishwa
Vishwa.
also. He is like a master of light. Like it's almost like painting. Like
Right.
he decides each, like how a painter decides each stroke. Like
Okay.
I need one more highlight here or whatever. He molds light like that. So
Okay.
that was
Okay.
like a huge learning for me. Although I was doing some videos for, like, when he was doing photographs, I was doing videos and all. But whenever I get chance, I try to learn like
Right. Right.
what
Right.
they are creating, because
Correct. Correct.
I never assisted anyone. So
But this
this is
was a
how you
really
get
good one.
like,
Correct. 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 Especially, there are multiple ways to create one particular, like, let's say for example, if you want to create a soft light, there are multiple ways. We might only know only one way, but when we
mm,
go and work with this set of
yeah,
creative
yeah,
people,
yeah,
we might get other ideas also. So how to create another lights, and that we can use it in our projects, or
yeah.
we can
Even
more.
now, I don't have like a formal training, right? So I don't know like exactly. Okay, this is the light. I try sometimes,
Correct,
like
correct.
I think more like a painter. Like
Mm.
if this is the thing I want to do, I want light from this side, or
Right.
the basic thing I understand. Then I mold it.
Mm.
So generally, when I shoot, the first shot takes little time for me. Although I
Okay.
go with pre-planning and all,
It will take
it
time.
will take time, because once I get that, then I mold it
Right.
from there.
So were you narrowing it down, or like, or you wanted to work with everyone who approached you?
See, initially I wanted to, like, if the project is interesting and if they have like proper budget, or if I'm doing something new in it,
Okay.
if the concept is new.
Mm.
For example, if I was doing a lot of shoots for lehenga brands initially,
Mm.
because once you do one kind of work
L-
and you upload it, the same kind
Everyone
of
will.
brands will approach you.
Mm.
Then you will get in, bored after a point,
Okay.
because with lehengas there are certain limitations. With
Mm.
saris there are certain limitations.
Correct.
If you continuously do it for a while,
Mm.
then you cannot create something completely different. So you want to try maybe a fast fashion,
Correct.
or so that way if something new comes, obviously I take it up.
Mm.
But I would not say yes for every
Right. Right.
project.
So you need to have a certain vision board, at least, like you
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah,
want.
like, that is the case.
Okay.
Then sometimes you have to compromise on certain things.
Correct.
What the client wants, you have to deliver. You
Mm.
cannot be like
Only I
too
would.
particular about, oh, I will only shoot. I don't upload.
Mm. Oh,
Some,
okay.
yeah,
Mm.
basically how you want to show yourself, right? Like
Correct. Correct.
even if you see the biggest photographer in India,
Mm.
they would be doing things they don't want to show.
Okay.
You just
Okay.
see their Instagram page and decide, okay, this is what
Mm.
because they want to put out what their language is, and they want to create a
Their
visual language
signature.
for themselves.
Mm.
But when some project comes which is completely different
Mm.
for them,
Mm.
if they're really busy in that month, they would not take it up.
But
But
if you are, let's
if you
say
have to
they're
pay your
free.
bills and if you have to, like, it's helping you, then obviously they'll take it up, but they won't show it.
Right, right. And at the beginning of your career, do you have to be ready at very short notice? Let's say, like, h- how long of a time will you have from a project for a project? Like,
See, certain clients will come to you. They won't have any vision at all.
hmm
They know to make their craft,
okay,
but they don't know how to, like,
how photography
how
things
photography
work.
works, or
Mm,
how to portray their work. They might be good at their craft, but
okay,
when it comes to photography, they won't have basic idea.
mm,
That time you have to guide them.
okay,
Sometimes they'll come and tell you that, we have this many garments, we want to shoot it like in next 2 days or 3 days.
right.
You cannot
Cannot.
obviously do a creative work like that. So it's always better to have, like, pre-production should be super strong.
Okay, okay.
Then obviously the result will come.
In that time, you would have to explain to the client, I cannot work in this short
Yeah,
notice.
yeah,
I
yeah.
need to have a.
Generally,
Okay.
if it is workable time, then we'll figure
Mm.
it out. But
It's
otherwise,
very, very short. 1 day or 2 day, it's extremely impossible. Right? Okay. Then how was working with Deepika Padukone in Nilaya shoot, and also you worked with her for Vogue cover, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
So how was your experience working with her?
See, with working with celebrities, it's always like
Okay.
they are the star there, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there are limitations with working
Mm,
with celebrities in
mm,
terms of the time.
mm.
You have to be super prepared.
Okay. Okay.
You have to be super prepared with
Mm,
what you have to do,
mm.
because they will come and they'll just, like, they'll give you 5 minutes or 10 minutes,
Okay.
and that's how the timing works.
Mm.
And also, if it is happening along with photo shoot and all, you'll have very less
Very,
time.
very little time
So
for
you need
video.
to be very clear, like, what you
Mm.
have to do with
Okay.
it. Sometimes it won't happen as you plan,
Okay.
because suddenly they will be late for 1 hour or two
Mm,
hours. So
mm.
then it's about, in editing table, you work with almost like, okay, these are the things I have. then I have to build a story around it. You
Okay.
know, and the experience was really good. Like most of the celebrities, they are like,
Mm. Even Kajal also you worked.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
They're all like very kind and
Okay. But Kajal shoot went one day or
not one day and all. Like
mm.
it was a half a day shoot where,
Oh, that was also half a day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I've
okay.
done like few shoots for her. One was like a creative shoot they wanted to do with
Mm.
multiple garments and all.
Mm.
That was like a half a day shoot where
No, but looking at the photos, I thought building this set and taking every shot takes a long amount of
it was
time.
not like a set basically.
Mm.
Backdrop, it was a studio, I think LA Studios, where
Okay, okay, okay.
we created the
Yeah, I believe
kind.
the more experience you are, you can finish this off quickly because a photographer like me, to be very frank, we
No,
will
no,
take.
I take a lot of time actually.
Okay.
Depends upon certain moods.
Mm.
Like for example, Kajal shoot happened very fast. Like
Okay, okay.
once I get the feel of what I wanted.
After that,
My
it's
problem is I'm like too particular about certain things, which is
right,
not
right, right.
actually good in certain
Scenarios. Huh?
projects.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be like okay with what it is there, but
Mm.
sometimes I get really you know micromanaging things, and sometimes I become very particular about certain things.
Correct, correct.
Till I get it, I'll delay it.
I think
So
same with me also. So till you get that first shot, we will be micromanaging all the stuff, and after that, we might go with the
yeah,
flow.
but
Yeah.
when it comes to commercial thing, obviously you need to have like different
Mm.
workflow altogether.
Okay. Then when you work in a set like Sabyasachi, how do you have the opportunity to network with other people to get your other projects? Like, is it like that?
I don't do that actually.
Okay.
When I'm in a project, I just focus on that project.
Okay. Okay.
But obviously, you build good friendship with different
The creative
talents
people.
there,
Right.
models, and
Mm.
that's the. I don't think about like what I get from that work or how I can network and all.
Okay. Okay.
That organically happens. Like
Mm.
sometimes you just be there and whatever is needed there, you do that,
Mm.
and people will remember you. They might call you after 4 5 years for
Right.
some
Right. Right.
project.
Right. You're telling the only your work speaks a lot.
Not like that, but
Mm.
generally I don't like if I go to a workspace or something.
Okay.
I just focus on that work. I don't like.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not really good at networking. I don't know whether it is
A
right or
lot
wrong.
of people who are behind the cameras are not good at networking, and mostly they are introverts.
Yeah,
But I want to know what will get them more projects. Is it being more little extroverted in the set will get them more projects, or when you're really good at work, that will
I
itself?
think it is very important right now, but
Okay.
I really lack
Okay.
that thing in my
Mm.
like. I don't till now. Whatever project happened, everything happened organically. Like they see
Mm.
my work or
Mm.
Instagram,
Mm.
but I'm not saying that is the right way to go
Okay.
because there are so many competition now, and
Mm.
the more you show your work, obviously
The more
people
you
will
show
see your work.
yourself, also they'll.
Uh, but it depends upon each person also, right?
Mm.
If I am someone who is not like that, and if I try to be like that, then it becomes like kind of
They,
fake,
yes, yes, yeah.
right?
Correct, correct.
Nowadays, all the like you might be a great artist
Mm.
or you might be talented, and you have to do some sort of stupid reels to get reach. Then you
It
have to
will
do
be.
that.
Mm.
I don't like. I'm not a person who will do that.
Mm.
So depends. Like the algorithm is working in a way where
Mm.
it is making you to do things which you personally would not do, or
Not
it's
do.
not you.
Correct, correct, correct.
That's why everybody is turning into similar kind of every content is becoming similar because
Mm.
the algorithm is asking you to do certain things.
Certain
So
things. Correct. What does it take to build trust with clients? Like, how do you get regular projects from certain clients? For example, Label Varsha or some other clients, you get regular projects from them. So, how do you get regular projects from them, and how do you build that particular trust?
you have to genuinely care for the brand.
Okay.
That is one thing.
Mm.
Like you need to understand the brand's language.
Okay.
Okay, not just a photo. Like if a brand comes to you, they might not know everything.
Mm.
Initially, at least there was agencies where they will work on the mood and all this thing.
Mm.
Nowadays, a lot of brands directly contact you,
Mm.
and they don't have a vision.
Mm.
So you have to set a vision for them.
Mm.
You need to study the brand. It's not just a photo shoot. Like
Okay.
it's not just okay. This particular collection I have to shoot, so I have to just focus on some mood board from Pinterest. It's not like that.
Mm.
You need to understand what the brand
Mm.
stands for, or
Mm.
so whenever a brand comes to me with all this list of products and I just talk to them initially about their vision,
Mm.
what the brand stands for,
Mm.
who are the competitors, who are the so once
Who
you
are the
give this
target
kind of
audiences?
once you give this kind of care and understand what the brand actually needs, the brand will obviously figure understand that you are not just here for this project.
Okay. Okay.
You actually care for the brand. You want to build the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they don't want to go with somebody else.
Okay. Okay. So that's how you get recurring projects from the brand. Okay.
I do that
Okay.
unintentionally, but
Mm.
sometimes they come. Sometimes with because of the budget, they might go to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They will work for like few other brands for a while. I mean, few other people. Mm,
But
When
they
they
deal.
miss out something, then they'll come back again.
Correct. Correct. And how does shooting abroad work? Like you shoot in Morocco, you shoot in South Africa and different countries. So how does it work? Like also, you do you have time for recce for doing the shoots and?
Uh, Depends upon the shoot.
Mhm.
Different projects have different workflow. Like for
Okay.
example, certain shoots we won't even know where we are shooting.
Okay. On the day, on the
On
time.
the day only we know,
Okay.
because some shoots it happens like four five. We just select a country
Hmm.
and we go there. Then the line production will have certain locations.
Okay.
Then we'll know, we might have seen that in photographs, but we won't be able to do recce for all the places.
Mm-hmm.
We just go there and shoot.
Hmm.
But shoots like Marks and Spencers and all,
Hmm.
we had like proper planning.
Okay. Okay.
For example, Marks and Spencers,
Hmm.
the entire pre-production happens there only. Like we go
Okay.
there and we
It is
work
in
with the
Parag, right?
huh?
Parag.
Yeah,
Mm.
and South Africa also.
Okay. Okay.
I get to work with the international teams. Like
Mm-hmm.
they might have worked with like really big directors in Hollywood and all.
Okay.
Whenever
Okay.
they
Mm.
Hollywood shoots happen there,
Mm.
but I got a chance to work with them. So their workflow is completely different from
Mm.
what we do.
Mm. Mm.
Here we don't have any planning, especially for fashion films or this kind of short narratives. Apart from TVCs,
Okay.
there is no pre-production mostly here.
Okay.
It's just like we
On the
go with the
day.
mood, we go
Mm.
with the photo shoot. I
Mm.
mean, some sort of mood shots, all this thing.
Mm.
There, they need to know everything. The production team, they always look at us and they like be confused how you guys are working,
Okay.
because here the creative team or whoever it is, they'll not have like a proper plan.
Mm. Mm.
They'll go there, they'll say, we'll change this, we'll change that.
Mm.
For them, everything has to be on paper, everything has to be planned well.
Mm. Mm.
Even if it is a small art thing, it has to be mentioned before in paper. We
Right. Right.
cannot like here, in some shoots and all, people they'll come, the director will say, "Oh, I
Mm.
want this. Why it's not there?" and all this.
Then on the
Suddenly,
spot they'll arrange it.
so the respect is also completely different.
Mm. Mm.
No,
No one
no
gets
matter whether
missed.
it's a light man or you know,
Mm.
everybody is equally important in a shoot
Mm. Mm.
and has to be treated that way. They have like proper breaks.
Mm. Mm.
Not like here. Here, like
Okay. Okay.
mostly, at least in South, it's much better when it comes to how we
Okay.
treat lightmen.
Mm. Mm.
It's not that great, but
Mm.
still we are human in that way.
Okay.
But in some parts of the country where the lightmen, they don't have the basic rights also here. Like
Right. Right.
you know,
Okay. Mm.
that
That's
way
so bad.
internationally they
Mm.
have that kind of like they treat the people right,
Mm. Mm.
and everything has to go through. There is no hierarchy as like, oh, he's a director, whatever he says. It's not like
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
Everybody is collaborating and working, and I think that's the ideal way to
Way to
look at it.
work. Yes. Yes.
Here there is this thing, that hierarchy, that if you're a director, you'll do anything.
Okay.
Everybody has to be like quiet,
Right. Right. Mm.
and you can yell at anybody. It's not
Mm.
like that. It has to
Mm.
be like everybody is important in a shoot. To create
Correct.
something,
Correct. Correct.
has to be
We
like
are working
collaborative.
towards one creative
Yeah,
vision,
yeah,
so
that
there's
is very
no
important.
need to look down on other people.
Correct, correct.
Correct. Talking about Rekesh, so you won't have time. I mean, you have very little time to
Mm,
Rekesh.
yeah,
Mm.
some of the shoots it's like that. Like
Mm.
you get like, because see, no matter how big the shoot is,
Mm.
there is always this line you will always hear,
Mm.
which is there is no budget,
Okay. Mm.
right?
Mm.
So actually, when we do our own production and all, we make sure that we have like proper time to
Okay.
we
Okay.
spend
Okay.
money on that. Like
Mm. Mm.
pre-production is important. So even if we are planning a TVC or something,
Mm.
one
Mm.
month before also, if we have time, we'll do proper recce's, proper planning, short division, everything.
Okay.
But it
Okay.
don't happen with every production.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
sometimes you have to work with what is limit, like whatever is
Okay.
available. So even if it is just one day before, like we do proper planning. Like
Okay. Okay. And what about the equipment and all? Na? Like, do you rent it out there or you bring it from here
I always rent out.
on that country?
Different countries have different.
Mm.
Say for example, these and all we shot with Ari and
Mm.
Sony Venice and all. So
Which one? The Marks and Spencer.
Marks and
Ah,
Spencer.
okay.
So that and all, obviously we get it from there only.
Okay, okay. Mm.
And if it is, for example, if we are shooting in Oman, like
Mm.
we did multiple shoots in Oman and all.
Yeah.
So those are like small cameras only,
Okay, okay.
a FX3 or FX6,
Mm,
that kind of
mm,
is run and gun kind of shoot
okay.
where I do photo shoot also, video also.
Mm,
For that kind of projects, it will be very expensive if you rent it from there,
okay.
because some of the countries the rents are almost like if you are shooting for 4 5 days, you can
You-
buy the camera only.
Okay.
It'll be that expensive.
Mm,
So that time we bring it from here.
okay,
But I
okay.
don't own any camera. I
Mm.
always
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
okay. So all of
I have a Lumix, but I don't use it that much. But
So talking about cameras, like you were shooting with 5D, I believe.
so I was using it, but I was not a big fan of. I just felt it had a very digital feel to it
Mm-hmm. Mm,
somehow,
mm,
and then I liked 1DC.
mm, mm.
That time it's an old camera, like it's almost like 5D 1D, but it has a sensor is different.
Okay. But it's completely for video.
Uh,
1DC is
yeah,
for.
you can shoot photo also, I guess, but it's like a micro fourth kind of
Oh,
sensor, I
okay,
guess,
okay.
or the Super 35, I
Super
guess.
35. Okay.
But the quality of colors are much better.
Mm,
There's a
mm,
very cinematic tone to it.
mm, mm,
So I try to rent out that and I shoot with that
mm, mm,
somehow. But then I moved to uh, I shot a lot of run and gun shoots like small fashion
mm,
films and all
mm.
with Panasonic GH5,
Okay.
GH4, GH5 and all.
Mm, mm,
So that is basically, I mean, a lot of people prefer like larger sensor and all this thing.
mm.
But back then, I felt that is more than enough.
Okay.
It had a good stability. I prefer handheld shots mostly.
Mm.
I shoot mostly with handheld.
Okay, okay, okay.
And
And when you use cine lenses, you
yeah, yeah, manual focus.
manual focus with your hands. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
this is like,
Okay.
you can't hire a
Focus
focus puller
fuller
and all
for
for this kind of shoots. If it is a
okay.
TVC or a
Mm,
proper digital film, then you can do it.
okay.
Here, it's all like most of the films,
Mm.
it's not like one film you're creating, right? You have to create a lot of
Lot of
content in that. Like,
correct,
so
correct.
it is almost like my go-to was like some cine lens, maybe Samyang or whatever it is.
That
And
also is rented.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, I generally don't.
Mm,
I have a pair of, I mean, few
mm,
cine lenses which
mm,
I bought later, but
mm.
initially it was like all
Okay, okay.
rented on.
Then Sabya campaign and all was shot in GH5.
Most of the campaigns were GH5,
Okay, okay.
bigger cinema camera for that, because
Mm,
the shoot doesn't happen like that.
mm,
If you are shooting with the cinema camera,
mm.
then the time slows down. Like
Right,
you
right,
need
right.
to like plan everything properly.
Mm.
Those fashion films don't happen like that.
Okay, okay. You have to be very quick. So whatever you get to do.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to figure out what is the narrative you're going to be like.
Mm, mm,
Mostly it's all visual. Editing is very important when it
mm,
comes to
mm,
fashion film.
mm,
Shooting is one thing,
mm.
which is basically you will anyway get a interesting frame, whatever is available and all this thing.
Okay.
Then what you build in the editing table,
Right, right, right. Okay.
that was
Okay.
interesting. You need to find the right music. You need to
Mm.
find the right kind of tone to it. All those stuff.
Okay. So, what's the process of shooting in iconic locations? And like you shot in Shumain's Tomb and Jama Masjid and all, right?
Yeah,
So it's already a tourist destination, and people will come and go. Like, how was it in shooting in that places?
it is. It was very difficult to shoot there.
Okay.
Generally, they don't give permission, but
Yeah, yeah,
somehow
yeah.
the production got it, and that was like a very interesting shoot. It was
It's
a 2 day
for
shoot.
Pile KL, right?
Pyle KL. His vision was really interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
he liked grandeur and all, and it's rarely we get like a team like that where
Mm.
everyone is doing their best,
Right, right.
styling wise,
Mm.
art wise, and the garments were also beautiful. Got the
Yeah.
best models.
Mm.
So
I
that
think
was like
Eugenia
we
was
want. Yeah,
there.
Eugenia was there.
Mm.
A lot of good models were there. Like,
Mm.
and the brand language is almost like a old Mughal
Mm-hmm.
vibe, and very royal. All this thing.
Mm.
So I wanted to keep it without making it too what to say. I want to keep it subtle at the same time.
Mm.
The grandeur should be there.
Right,
So
right.
that was the idea.
Mm.
And so we shot one day in Jama Masjid. In front of Jama Masjid, there was a terrace
Mm.
where we hired the place and we created like some shots we shot where the Jama Masjid is in the bag and
Yes, yes.
back and these models were there. And some I wanted to keep a transparent, like almost like a painting. I wanted to keep the background like a watercolor wash,
Right, right.
and the
Mm.
product should be like
Mm.
highlighted well. So what we did is we put a skimmer behind. made the
Yeah.
models, and
Mm.
it's a bright
Mm.
sunny
Mm.
day.
Mm.
So what happens? The skimmer cuts down. A, it's like acts like a transparent layer to it.
But still, the background is
The
visible.
background is visible,
Mm.
but it's not like too obvious. So
Too
it's
obvious.
almost like when you paint watercolor, if you do a transparent layer,
Correct. Correct. Correct.
it looks like that. So
Right.
that was one idea. So
Mm.
that's why we didn't want to like keep it
Mm.
too much detail on every place.
Right.
It
Mm.
has to be settled. So at the same time, Jama Masjid shot also
Mm.
early morning when we went to Reki, we
Mm.
made sure we go early
Okay.
and see when the sun rises because it's a huge space.
Mm. Mm.
So you cannot light up the entire place.
Mm.
You
Correct.
have to listen to what sun does.
Correct.
You have to go with.
Mm.
Uh, you cannot like change the entire thing.
Mm.
So when we went to the Reki, we went early
Mm.
and figured out what is the time sun hits the thing properly,
Okay.
and we had to work backward. So if 5 o'clock this shot has to be taken, or 5:30, we have to be 1 hour before here, set up everything, because when you're working with multiple models in one frame, that's really really
Okay. Mm.
you might think you will not take
Mm.
much time, but each one model has to perform well.
Correct. Correct.
I
Everyone
mean,
has to be coordinated, right? Mm.
everything has to be like balanced.
Mm. Mm.
Otherwise, one model will be like really performing well, and one person will be like, obviously now you can do the changes in Photoshop and all,
Mm.
but for an image like that, you need to be like really
Okay.
planned well. Like
It should be on that spot and at the
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah.
Mm.
So you have to work backwards. Like what is
Mm.
the time you want to shoot? So you
Okay.
keep some grace period. Then you go back and
And rightly, when the sun hits the perfect
yeah,
place,
yeah,
and you have to capture it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Right.
I mean, we use
Mm.
artificial light also for the
Yeah.
models,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the entire
Entire
monument in the
mod
back you cannot like.
lighted it up.
So you have to be like
Right. Right.
very
So you
particular.
only have controls for the model.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
But the other light you cannot control. Yeah. So how did you plan this VBJ shoot? We saw that it was amazing. Mm.
So the agency came up with a basic idea.
Mm. Mm.
Like they want to show that um, a dancer going into a temple
Mm.
and worshipping the god and all and performing a bit, and simultaneously we want to show the
Jewelries as well.
jewelry.
Mm.
So basic line, most of
Mm.
the jewelry has this
Mm.
kind of
Mm.
jewelry shoot has either this kind of line or
Mm.
it'll be like a festival or something like that.
Mm.
But we wanted to make it more artistic
Correct.
and keep it simple and yet
Mm.
give the artistic feel to it.
Mm.
So we found a place in Kanjivaram. We went to again pre-production is what matters,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
we went there,
Mm.
we planned each shot there, like
Mm.
what time, which angle,
Mm.
everything like we
Mm.
planned, and we built a story accordingly.
Mm. Mm.
We
Mm.
didn't want to go with like a very big. The budget was like tight, so we didn't go for like a
Mm.
really big crew. It was a small crew, but we
Okay.
managed to
Mm.
pull it off.
But nowadays, do you think, as you mentioned before, the budget was very low for BBG shoot? Nowadays, do you think brands have become more budget conscious? So earlier days, I could see there was a lot of grand shoots happening, like with larger sets. You shoot in Taj Udaipur, Lake Palace, and all. But nowadays, I feel like the budgets have been shrinking.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
definitely.
that the case?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because
Okay.
before it used to be like before it was just two shoots a year
Hmm.
for a brand.
Hmm.
So either winter collection or summer
Okay.
collection,
Hmm.
or for our it's a festival shoot or something like that.
Hmm.
Maybe so if we had like 50-60 lakhs for a year budget, or
Hmm.
maybe a crore for a year marketing budget or
Hmm.
shoot budget, it was divided into two,
Right. Or
and
maximum three.
maximum three.
Yeah.
Two only, most of the
Hmm.
brands they do only two shoots
Hmm.
maximum.
Hmm.
Now because of social media platform and this whole thing of like content, so you need to like every brand feels that they are missing, the fear of missing out is there, so
Hmm.
they want to be part of this,
Right.
and I mean that's how it works,
Hmm. Hmm.
and everybody is pushing a lot of content.
Right.
Number When number becomes more and the budget is the same, obviously your quality also goes down. And
Right. 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 Hmm.
initially when we started fashion films in 2016 and all,
Hmm.
used to be like two three maximum two films a day, or it will be just one film we make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we put our craft and everything in each shot,
Right.
right? So we pick the best and create one narrative
Mm.
which will be like engaging, and also people can watch it.
Mm.
Now what happens is like when you have to shoot like I I actually avoided shooting a lot of reels and all these things
Okay.
because not because I don't like it as
Mm.
such, but interesting if you can like you need to give a proper time and things for that, right? Like
Mm.
when client comes and they ask you like 10 reels, 15 reels a day,
It's
it will
impossible.
become monotonous and it will
Mm.
become no matter how good you are in something,
Mm.
you have to like it will become monotonous after
I
a
think
point.
when they ask you 10 reels and all, I think the best two reels or three reels from your side you can give. The all the
So
other
what
reels.
what I tell them is let's build one story,
Okay.
one long film or
Mm.
something where you
Mm.
put all the best things. Then other short reels can be like your product oriented or whatever because they
Mm.
have to they are thinking from the business point of view.
Mm. Mm.
If they're
Mm.
doing a shoot, they want content for this many months.
Right. Right.
That's the
Mm.
thing.
Mm.
But yeah, you have to compromise on certain things
Right.
when the number increases. So
Mm-hmm. Mm.
number of the quantity has increased what it was like 10 years, I mean 8 10 years before. The quantity has increased but the budget is same.
And the quality has gone down a
So
little bit.
that's the
Right. But do you feel like the brands in the elite category are still doing their work? Like, let's say for Sabyasachi, I don't think he is compromising, right? Or is it the same?
shoots happens for like 7 8 days and
Okay.
it's
Mm.
like obviously easy
Mm.
if a brand has a proper language brand language
Mm-hmm.
and they want to maintain that,
Mm.
obviously they will not compromise on
Right. Right.
certain things.
Mm. Mm.
And it's all about how you like it should be mindful whether you're doing 10 reels or one reel. It should be mindful, that's it.
Mm. 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 Right. And what is the payment terms? Na? Like, how fast do you get paid from the date of invoicing? And is there a difference from north to south in this payment terms?
mm, I don't know whether it is different from north, I mean I don't see difference like that.
Okay. Okay.
uh, Whatever I've done here,
Mm.
payments were all on time.
Mm.
And I couldn't classify it like north versus
Yeah.
south
Yeah.
in this.
Mm.
But there are different kind of clients, right?
Mm. Mm.
Some There are some clients who have delayed payment for 1 year also.
Oh, okay. Mm. Mm.
And some people they will be like, and I've seen like mostly if it is a startup brand or if
Mm.
they are small,
Mm.
they are very okay with giving you payment on time. And
Okay. Okay.
they will even give you before
Oh, okay.
like before you complete the project only they'll give you,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
because
Maybe because they know the struggle. So,
they but I've seen like really big brands,
okay.
some brands who have
Mm.
like a lot of money,
Mm.
but when
Mm.
it comes to talents payment, sometimes they take it for granted.
End of the day, they paid.
Yeah,
Mm.
obviously they have to pay.
Mm.
So it's better to, if you're starting out and you want to like
Mm.
keep these things very clear, you cannot go with word of mouth.
Mm.
you
Mm.
know I mean, you cannot just go with their words
Mm.
or Instagram, I mean, WhatsApp conversations.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
better to make a agreement. Like
Mm.
once the project is clear, I mean,
Okay.
agreed, then
So you do
at
make
least you have to send a
agreement.
mail with proper details. Like
Right. Right.
these are
Mm.
the terms.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Because mostly when we're starting out, we will be like thinking, okay, if I ask for money, they will be like they will run away, or maybe they will not. They will think bad about it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
we don't talk about it. So at least send a mail saying that these are the things,
Right. Right.
these are the terms we agreed to,
Mm.
and these are the timeline and everything.
Okay.
Then
So
at
do
least it
you
will be
put
known.
agreement for all the shoots or like
Not really. Actually, this
you
is the
have?
procedure. It has to be done like
Mm.
that.
Mm.
But the fact is, we don't do it for all the projects. Some
Mm.
of the things happens in the last minute, and
Mm. Mm.
mail will be there always.
Okay. Okay.
But
Mm.
proper agreement, if you're doing like a really big project, then we do,
Okay. Okay.
because it won't happen for smaller
Mm.
clients.
Mm. Mm.
Ideally, it should be the way,
Mm.
but
Okay. But with this podcast, Anna, we would try to build a network where some clients at least won't expect this particular network, at least the
mm.
community at least. So
That
we
is
are
very
trying.
important.
Yeah.
That is the way to go actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Because
problem
if you
is
go as an
not everybody is
individual,
following it. So client
yeah.
also feel
Mm.
like, for example, they would have done a shoot with somebody.
Mm.
They wouldn't have asked anything, and they would do it for free also sometimes.
Mm. Mm.
And when you meet a professional again,
Mm.
they get confused. Why this guy is charging for equipments?
Yeah.
Why this guy is asking for
Mm.
agreement and all?
Right. Right. Right.
But that is the
That is the
way
way
it
to
works.
go.
That is the
Yeah.
way it works.
Okay. I think at least if there is one community where it is uniform across the community, clients might not take us for granted. So we wanted to
In
bring
that
that
way, it's
out.
very important to have like the
Mm,
whole thing which you guys are doing it also
yeah.
very important to have like a
Mm,
community,
mm-hmm.
right? Because what I felt is in Delhi and Bombay and all, it's already there a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to Chennai, we couldn't find a community here. Like everybody
Correct,
is
correct.
there on their own,
Their
and
own stuff.
yeah,
And they are thinking like, should we ask, should we not ask, and
mm,
stuff like that.
we should work collaboratively, like in terms of like
Correct, correct.
even in terms of payment and all this thing. It has
Mm-hmm.
to be like there should be discussion.
Correct, correct.
So what is the thing happening? Like
Mm,
what are the things we can charge for? A lot
mm-hmm.
of people don't know they can charge for pre-production. They can
Mm-hmm.
charge for recce day.
Mm-hmm.
This is the procedure. Like,
Okay, okay, okay. So they think all this comes under the shoot and
mm,
they don't charge it for that.
your time is money, right? So you need to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how you are giving the.
Correct, correct. And do all clients have accurate expectations, Anna? Or are there any clients who micromanage all this small, small stuff? Let's say, for example, you're doing a video. So do they come and tell you all the small, small details?
Yeah, I work with that kind of clients.
Okay. But end of the
See,
day, those details won't even matter because
that's
on
the
the screen
thing.
it won't
See,
even matter.
if you are hiring a talent,
Mm,
you need to trust somehow.
mm, mm.
Like for example, if you're ordering a food and you're going into the kitchen and asking whether you put this or that,
It's
it
something like
doesn't
that.
work like that.
Right.
You're hiring a person because you've already
Mm,
seen their work. But I always take inputs from them. Like my work is always collaborative. Like
mm,
when I'm doing a shoot,
mm,
I make sure that they are also understanding what I'm doing. I
mm,
tell my vision.
mm.
And if some parts which they are saying I don't agree, and if I feel that will affect the entire project, obviously I'll stand for it. But some clients comes like that, more than clients, there will be higher people who are sitting in the client side, right? Like
Mhm.
marketing head or someone
Mm, mm, mm.
who won't know much about it.
Okay.
But especially this digital marketing agencies,
Mm, mm, mm,
okay, there'll be some person
mm,
in the higher position,
mm.
and they will tell, they might have googled about all this thing
Okay.
just before the shoot,
Mm,
and
mm.
they'll come and tell me the first shot has to be like a close up of this, then only
Okay.
in first 2 seconds we have to grab the attention.
Okay.
you
Mm,
know all
mm,
these things are like the formulas which they use, but the narrative doesn't happen like that.
mm, mm.
So all these people, they micromanage. Sometimes they'll come and see each frame, all these
Okay.
things.
Mm,
If you think it is valid, obviously they,
mm,
if for example if it is for a layout
mm.
and they have to give their input for that, then obviously it is fine.
Correct.
Sometimes if they're just doing it just to show that I'm
Mm.
it's my creativity and all this
Oh,
thing, then you have to politely shut them, you know
okay.
otherwise.
Mm.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
after the
they.
shoot they will ask you only
Okay. Okay.
why it is not there and all. Then you
Mm.
cannot say that this person wanted it and all.
You cannot say that again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
On the set they want to show that they have given,
Okay.
they are
Okay.
given
Given
their
the input. Mm.
when you work with agencies happens, it
Okay.
is valid, then we're gonna
Mm.
take it.
Okay.
But if you don't know something and you just want to
Mm. Or
just,
if that doesn't align with the brand.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because
Mm.
we are talking to the brand, we have already
Mm.
a basic idea what the
What
brand
brand is?
needs.
Mm.
You cannot come to the shoot and change everything.
When there is another creative director, what do they look in a photographer? Do they look like, will this photographer match the brand's aesthetic, or is that the only thing? Or
Generally, when there is a creative director from an agency or
mm,
something, they have a overall vision for the entire campaign.
mm,
For
mm,
example, if you're doing a shoot for
mm,
Kingfisher,
mm,
then they know why they are doing the campaign. It's not just the photography visual. That will one part.
mm, mm,
They
mm,
will take care of the banners. They'll take care of the how the in multiple places how they're gonna market it.
mm,
All
mm,
those things they know. So
mm,
they know the product and everything better.
mm.
So they will make sure that we are aligned in the same way.
Right,
So
right.
when we are doing something, they will, because we only care about lighting and all this thing when we are
Mm,
only a photographer in
mm,
that.
mm.
The creative director will make sure that we are aligned in a right way.
Okay,
Like if
okay.
something goes, if for example, if I'm using a hard light
Mm,
and
mm,
they feel in their hoardings it
mm,
won't work out,
mm,
then
mm.
they will tell us, no, this is not working.
Okay,
So they
okay.
have a whole vision of the
Mm,
thing,
mm,
which
mm.
is important.
Okay.
So most of the shoots, if there is no creative director, then the photographer become the,
Creative director.
will
Okay.
have to be the creative director.
Mm, okay. But in the case where the creative director is there, the photographer has to cater to the creative director.
Yeah,
Okay. Mm. So how does your travel and street photography help you in getting inspiration? Like,
I think that is my base
okay.
because
Mm.
before I started doing fashion and all.
Mm.
Street photography was my, thing. Like every week I used to go out and shoot. And
Right.
what happened is I was a very introvert person.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
cannot interact with another person to
Mm.
get a photograph and all.
Mm.
But street photography, you know, broke that thing for me. Like in terms of I could go and speak to a stranger,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
and sometimes and one more thing is you uh, everything is not in your control when it comes to
Mm.
street photography,
Mm. Mm.
right? Things are happening, you're just observing. Whereas in fashion, it's like you have to create a lot of things.
Correct.
So this is more like how for painters sketching is important.
Mm.
Like they have to constantly sketch, then only they can do a
Right.
painting. Similarly, musicians, they do practice, a lot of
Mm.
practice sessions, then only they can perform.
Mm.
So street photography is more like that for me.
Okay.
It got like you can instantly take a camera and shoot.
Mm.
Those practice, because of street photography only it happened.
Okay. 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 That
And
will help you in term
yeah, that
for
helped
sure.
me a lot in. But
Okay.
I am not doing a lot of street photography now, which I
Mm.
really miss.
Okay. Okay.
Like you cannot
But whenever
stop.
you go, you do.
I shoot with phone only now.
Okay. Okay.
Not a
But
big.
you are not dedicatedly shooting street
Yeah,
photography.
like
You recently did astrophotography also, like in
that is when
Morocco.
I was in Morocco for.
Mm.
I never tried astrophotography, but I was staying in a place which was like so many thousands of year old, which is
Okay.
you might
Okay.
have seen in Gladiator movie and all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a place called Edbinadu, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a very old
Mm.
uh, village there,
Okay. Okay.
and with no noise pollution, light
Light
pollution.
pollution. No
There's no
artificial lights.
no artificial light. So when
Okay.
we stayed, they'll give you candles.
Oh.
So
Okay.
you have to
Mm.
like keep the
Mm.
candles like constantly,
Okay.
without light only we were staying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So because there was no light pollution,
Mm.
when I went there, I like in the night I couldn't
Mm.
sleep only.
Okay. Okay.
So much stars, I've never seen so many stars before. It was
Okay.
like
Okay. 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 So
bare
that.
eyes only you can see.
Mm. Mm.
Then I had to take it, so I shot it. But
Okay.
otherwise, I would
Okay.
never done.
Okay. And now, what do you think the role of AI is in photography? Because nowadays, I feel like product photography is completely gone. Because let's say, like, you have a product, you can just take a photo of it and you can mold it to anything in AI. Like, you can have it in a outdoor scenario, you can have it in an indoor scenario, you can create anything with AI. So,
Yeah,
what is your thought on that?
I think none of us was prepared for it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
even
Mm.
2 years before, we thought it's like
Even 1 year before, Anna, that
yeah,
was.
yeah. But I think there is no going back now. That is
Mm,
how everything is going.
mm, mm.
Um, After a point, it will all become like your taste and curating,
Correct. Mm,
like your vision, because everybody can create now.
mm, mm,
That is how it is going.
mm,
Like once they got into the mobile phone, no, like
mm,
in ChatGPT, you can create something.
mm,
So
mm.
everybody can create now. Like
Correct.
how, you saw Ghibli trend, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How it happened.
Mm,
So I feel it is good in a way. Also, it's bad in a
mm,
good in a way that it you everybody can create it.
mm,
So uh, so lot of people get access to it.
mm.
A lot of small brands can do it by
Correct,
themselves.
correct, correct.
You see it in positive way, that is there. Like
Mm,
anybody can,
mm.
without spending, they can build their brand. All these things are
Correct,
there.
correct.
But the most negative thing is basically the noise it's going to create.
Mm,
The moment everybody can do something, you keep seeing lot of stuff, and it becomes like how when you see a movie of uh, Miyazaki,
mm, mm,
there was so much what to say craft in it, and you had like you appreciated it so much.
mm, mm.
In 1 month, they started, like when everybody created the similar kind of work, you
Correct,
know,
correct,
you
correct.
got bored of it.
Correct.
So the value of art might go little low
Mm,
because everybody can, when it is accessible to everyone,
mm.
obviously the value will go down.
Okay.
But it's also like this is a time where you have to actually think beyond like your there was limitations before. Now
Mm.
you can create whatever you
Whatever
want.
we want. Mm,
So obviously artist is going to be an artist.
mm,
His
mm.
vision is going to be different. So how differently you going to create? So it's like a huge leap actually now.
Correct, correct.
uh,
But I'll put you one challenging question. As an artist, like, how do you feel now? Let's say, for example,
for every as an artist I
uh,
feel terrible about it
okay. Let's say,
sometimes.
for example, I put an input like I want a Maran style image of my
Yeah, that's
photo.
like algorithm. Like
Mm,
imagine like
mm.
there is no there won't be any copyright anymore.
Copyright anymore.
So if you see it from an artist perspective,
Mm.
this is like a really like everyone is in panic
Yes, yes.
because everybody thinks like, okay, we spend so much time to learn something, and now you can just use my image and get similar style.
Similar
Means
style
like
image.
that's like not a right way to go about it. But I don't know, like the entire a industry is going that way. So there is no there won't be any copyright after a point, I guess.
Correct, correct.
It's all about remixing different
Mm.
style and creating
Mm.
something out of it.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's not a,
Mm.
I mean, when it comes to copyright, yeah, this is like a
Correct.
wrong way,
Mm.
wrong path we are choosing.
Mm. Mm.
You know what? To be frank, it's about like art was always a theft,
Mm. Okay.
right?
Mm.
Skill was there, skill
Mm.
required for that.
Okay.
You like whatever I shoot,
Mm.
I would have learned it from different images I saw when I was a child.
Mm. Mm.
Maybe in the book I saw
Mm.
or the movies I watched.
Mm.
We take aesthetics from different thing and we
Correct.
try to create something new,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Now an artificial intelligence is doing,
Mm.
which means you just have to give an input and it does all the stealing part, right?
Correct, correct.
It's combining all the vision
Mm.
and it's creating something new.
Mm.
It will be very difficult to choose a like, because if an artist actually created a style for a
Mm.
long time, then you can call it as his style.
Right, right.
Obviously it has to be credited,
Mm. Mm.
but so many styles are available in Pinterest now.
Mm.
Anybody can pick from anything and mix, and it's going to be a remix.
Correct, correct.
What is it? Remix era.
Mm.
It's going to
Mm.
be
Mm.
like a lot of people are going to just take ideas from different things and they're going to collaborate and do it.
Okay, okay. What is the process of working in movies, Anna? Like you worked for one movie poster, Maviran.
Yeah, yeah. When you're shooting for a movie poster,
Mm.
you need to know the highlight points of the story.
Okay, okay, okay.
So these are the peak moments. These are the important moments.
Mm-hmm.
So we discuss along with the post designer also, the
Mm-hmm.
graphic designer
Mm-hmm.
also, like what is the kind of thing we can go for. So there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of multiple
Okay.
brainstorming session.
Mm.
Then we decided what are the key moments we can focus
Okay,
on.
okay. So when you
And
discuss with that poster designer, then you'll backtrack it and you'll work it in a backwards way and you'll set the lightings in such a way.
yeah,
Mm.
it was a collaborative project in
Mm.
terms of like everybody put their idea
Mm.
initially. Like
Mm.
these are the shots we can go for, and once we finalized, we understood like what is the kind of final poster going to be. So whether
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a top light or just like
Right, right.
lighting wise, then we planned it.
Okay. How much of an importance do you think we should give for gears in photography? Like some people are super obsessed with gears. They want the best equipments to shoot. Then they believe that they can shoot only when they have this expensive equipments with them.
Mm. That happens when you're like sometimes even I felt initially like that.
Okay.
Sometimes only
Mm.
if we have this that, but
Mm.
if you give so much importance to that gear and all, no,
Mm.
like you miss out on the basic things.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, it's always if the gear is serving some purpose. Obviously, if you have budget, you can go for it.
Mm.
But if there is nothing and
Mm.
you have to shoot
Mm.
with whatever is available,
Mm. Mm.
the base is what you're gonna tell with that. Right.
Correct, correct, correct.
Obviously, if you have budget, you have to go with what is required for the project.
Mm.
But
Mm.
it's not like you have to have all this, then only you can create something.
Mm.
There
Mm.
are some projects with some clients, they won't have budget at all.
Mm. Mm.
Then you have to plan the shoot accordingly.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
if I have only one light, what I can do with it?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I have to either find out a spot like that, or a story revolving around that
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm.
minimal lighting.
Right.
And but if you have enough budget and you want to put it in that,
Mm.
then if it is required for the project, you can do. For example, sometimes people don't know where to put the, like they will think if I shoot with
Ah,
Ari and all this thing, the image will come really well.
correct, correct.
But they wouldn't have got a good light.
Right, right.
You know, whatever is important, light is more important than the camera.
Camera, correct.
So
You might rather invest your money in
yeah,
lights.
and
Mm.
lens is important
Mm.
accordingly.
Mm.
So you have to figure out where you're putting your money in it.
Correct, correct.
Like the
Mm.
gears will help you to create your craft, but if you don't focus on your main thing and
Mm.
only focusing on these, then obviously it's not going to help you.
What are the mistakes someone should avoid when they are starting out right now as a photographer?
What I feel is right
Mm.
now, uh, the informations are available everywhere. You go to any Pinterest, you find multiple styles of work.
Mm.
So we get lost in it.
Okay.
So when you're starting out, you don't care about what you like. You need to give your time to make mistakes first.
Mm-hmm.
Then you find out your own language, what you like, what you don't like. More than understanding what you like, you have to understand what you don't like.
Correct.
But in the way it is going, like what happens is like you constantly want to make content,
Mm.
and more than making art, you're so much focused on
Making
you
money.
want to show that you're making art,
Yes, 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 yes.
because that has become needed now. Like everybody
Right, right.
is like more than the actual work, people are focusing on the BTS because
Correct,
that is
correct.
getting more views. So I think we should, as an artist,
Mm.
we need to understand that obviously networking is important,
Mm.
obviously showing our work is important,
Mm.
but we should not change our own self and language just to be seen, just to be identified by
Correct,
others.
correct, correct.
We need to take our own stand,
We need
what we
to.
like, what we don't like.
Mm.
Then only you can craft your own aesthetics. Like it won't happen like we can't choose a
Mm.
style like, oh, this is the style I want to do.
Okay.
It has to be built through years of practice.
Okay, okay.
So
Once when you do that, the other money or other
e-
fame and all
yeah, that
follows
will
that.
come,
Mm.
but you have to be honest to your craft.
Correct, correct,
So
correct. Yeah. And what are all the payment mistakes that beginners make? See, I've seen a lot of photographers, and they are not getting paid at all.
mm, mm,
Like
mm,
they do some projects and they've been exploited by the brands. So, what
mm.
would be your advice or suggestion for them?
First I say no collaboration.
Okay.
Like whenever they call for collab or something, if it is group of artists who really want to create something, like if I have a story
Mm, mm.
and you have a story and we are going to create something, nobody is getting monetary gain
Exactly.
from that,
Mm, mm,
then it is a completely different thing.
mm.
You're more like a young kid who want to experiment,
Correct.
exploring together as a team. That is completely different.
Mm,
But brands, when they call and ask you collab, you might think, okay, maybe this will add to my portfolio and all.
mm,
That is like, once you start doing it, even if you're not really skilled, obviously when you start you cannot charge a lot,
mm, mm,
but charge something,
mm,
value your money.
mm.
People are coming to you because you know something,
Correct. Correct.
right?
Mm,
Whether you're just starting out, you
mm,
want brands
mm,
to be collaborated with you, whatever it is, then charge even minimum amount,
mm.
but don't do it for free.
Free. Yeah.
That way you will never, like, you'll be labeled as someone who,
Okay. Okay. If you started
and you're
doing.
not just affecting your own thing, you're affecting the entire industry.
Mm, mm. Okay. If you started doing free shoots, you will be labeled as a photographer who does
Yeah,
collaboration and
because
free
they will
shoot.
try checking with somebody else for
Okay.
who
Mm,
has better work or whatever it is.
mm.
When they start charging, they'll like, okay, if there is no budget, then you will think that if I do this shoot, when they have bigger budget,
They'll
they
come
will
to you.
come to you. They'll
Mm.
never come to you. When they
Okay.
have bigger budget, they will go to person actually who's charging.
Mm, mm,
You
mm.
know, even though
Okay.
your work is good, the moment you start doing it for free, you're actually not valuing yourself.
Right.
That's
Right.
the main thing.
Okay. And there are people, as we spoke before, there are people who wanted to achieve success in a shorter. They wanted to work with Sabyasachi or they wanted to work with the bigger brands like Kill in 2 years or 3 years. They've just finished photography,
Mm.
their course, and they wanted to do it in 2 years or 3 years. What would be your advice to them?
I think we should not set goals like, we have to have goal like, you want to be a better photographer in 2 years. Obviously, you can do
Okay.
all these other things
Mm.
comes to you. Like it's not like you plan it and do it,
Correct. Correct. Mm.
right? And you need to give time for your craft initially, like
Mm.
to develop it. Or
Mm.
so if it is only about making money, then I think we should not choose art initially. It's about understanding the art first, then things will fall.
Correct.
There are a
Mm.
lot of brands who will approach you. It's not a,
Mm.
once you have set of skills and once you are serving something which is not already there,
Mm.
these brands will come to you.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you just set your goal like, I want to do this particular brand, then you are only obsessed with that brand, not your own
Correct. Correct.
craft.
Mm. Mm.
There's nothing wrong in it. Everybody has their own
Vision, but
vision, but
you should
this
not
is
be
my,
obsessed with them.
like, because you should not be like, then you will start doing only what that brand needs.
Mm.
You
Mm.
will, once you have your own language,
Mm.
whatever brand which has aligned with that, like which has similar aesthetic, they will obviously come to you.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you are obsessed with one particular brand
Mm.
and you want to do that, so you will end up doing all your work in that way.
Okay.
So that's not an original
Yeah.
vision, right? So
And I want to end this podcast with the one thing which I felt about you. I think you are one of the very few people, Anna, who create art and who also successfully able to monetize it in a proper way. Because there are a lot of people who want to create excellent art, but they don't know how to monetize it. But for you, when I see like you're doing Sabyasachi shoots, you're doing your fashion shoots, you create art and you monetize it also. So that's a good thing. And thank you for coming to our show. And thank you and all the best for your future endeavors, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was the episode with Maran. So thank you for watching this episode till the end and subscribe if you liked it. And please do let us know if you have any questions for upcoming photographers who will be on our show soon. See you.